in this video, I'm talking a lot about how culture has become increasingly consumeristic, and consumeristic in a way that leads us to be critical of other people who are creating, but then also hinders us from creating and doesn't give us any real valuable input. So I'm going to talk about 4 main areas of your life that you need to make sure are constantly nurtured. And then I also want to take you through evaluating your free time and seeing if in your free time you truly are hitting all of those 4 important areas, or if you are slipping into the gravitational pull of culture and just being a consumer and a critic. Hey everybody, I'm Alexis. I upload twice a week about personal development, risk-taking, and business. If you're interested for more content like that, please subscribe. I upload twice a week. So I think you can tell the measure of a person by what they do in their free time. And I think that's kind of a harsh statement, but it's not that different from the statement we heard when we were kids that you can tell a person's character by what they do when no one's watching. So I think our culture has become very consumeristic, where there are not as many people creating as there are consuming. And people want everything quick, and so it's understandable why you wouldn't create, because creating can be a slow, messy process, and a lot of people haven't developed the patience or the other character traits that would need to sustain creativity for a long amount of time. So what's easier for them to feel like they're contributing in some way is to just sit back and criticize other people and judge other people who are actually out there creating. So I think it's important to know that our culture is headed in that way toward a more consumeristic frame of mind. And I don't think this will go on forever, but I do think it's kind of like waves that the culture goes in. And right now it's kind of a consumeristic wave, and I think for the duration of me being on Earth, we'll be in this consumeristic frame of mind. So it's important for me and for you to assess how we're actually using our free time and to make sure that we're actually better than and not just evidence of where culture is going. So I think there are 4 spheres of life that are really important to make sure that you're nurturing and spending time in. And it has to do with input and output. So the one type of input and output has to do with your work, and the other type of input and output has to do with relationships. So it's kind of these 4 spheres of life. So the first input and output is the work that you're doing. I think it's really important to take some input. So you need to get feedback from other people, you need to be learning, you need to be reading, getting lots of knowledge so that you can really hone your craft. Then once you've gotten the knowledge, then it's really important to create an output and really do a job that you love, or create art that you love, or whatever it is. It's just really important that with your words and with your actions and with the work that you do, it's important that you stay in a creative mode. But you don't want to be too much input or too much output, because it imbalances you. So you need to learn and get the feedback, and then you need to create it. And then just keep cycling. I think right now the problem with our culture is that we're getting so much input. We're constantly being advertised to. There's constantly social media. We can look at other people's lives. We can consume YouTube content, that it creates this echo chamber. And if you never go and create something, it creates a lot of anxiety, because all you're getting is input. And it really shocks people, I think. But we've been around it for so long that I think people are starting to become aware that this is probably not good. But a lot of people are just kind of doing it anyways, and they don't really understand that it's important to get input and to get output. Now, I will say, when you get this input, it's important that it's learning and that it's actually helping you in some way. If it's just scrolling through someone's feed and you don't know them and it's not adding value to your life and it's just another one of those inputs, that's really not valuable to you. So it's really important that you evaluate the types of input that you're getting to make sure that the types of input you get will really enhance and speak to the type of creations that you will make. And if you're getting input that's not going to help your creations, I'd say drop it. We got too many things going on in this world, and we have too many options and so many possibilities to do in our life that I don't think that you should probably waste it on things that really aren't going to help your creative sense. So the second type of input and output really comes to people and relationships. So it's important to get an input, to get quiet with yourself, figure out what you like and who you are and how you're doing today. And it's important to do that regularly on the day-to-day basis. How am I doing today? How are my feelings today? How are my thoughts today? How do I feel like my relationships are going today? How is my career going today? And sit there and really get content with yourself and who you are, so that when you come into relationships, you're already content and you have a sense of knowing yourself, that you don't have to get identity just from these other people. So then you can create wonderful relationships. And once you've gotten true to yourself, you're a much better conversationalist, and you can meet them where they're at and be a good friend, because you don't have to be so self-centered. I think a lot of people skip this input step of figuring out what they like and who they are. The problem is then when you're in a relationship all the time and you haven't gotten true to yourself, you have a need to talk about yourself, and you have a need to assess what's going on in your life. The problem is if you don't ever get by yourself, then they're going to end up thinking that you're selfish and only think about yourself. It's just best when it's in balance. You've taken care of yourself so you can take care of other people. So it's kind of these 2 frames of input and output. So what I want you to do is really assess which areas of these are lacking. I think different people are bent towards certain ways. It's really important to know how culture is going in your own tendencies and to evaluate your own life so that you can create more balance. So look at how often you're getting an input of knowledge and how much much you're outputting that into some sort of creation. Look at how much you're getting input with yourself and you're talking with yourself, and then how much you're talking with other people. And try to find balance in all these lives, because I think it makes your creations a lot more rich and your relationships a lot more rich when they have substance to them. And it's kind of like you've done all the prep work before you need to go and do that. And at the same time, it gives your knowledge and your self-knowledge a lot more value if you're going to broadcast that to people. If you're going to create for people and you're going to have relationships with people, it gives that knowledge a lot more value. You know, knowledge isn't going to be very valuable, and the self-knowledge isn't going to be very valuable if you were just by yourself in a vacuum and you're not going to do anything with it. It would benefit you, but like we talked about earlier, it creates this echo chamber that actually creates anxiety, because it's like this message is just bursting out of you and you want it to come out, but you have nowhere to put it. So I want you to kind of look at your last week's activities, take an inventory of what categories they fall into, and then I want you to brainstorm what are some things that you could do to just by like 1%. What can you, if you have areas that you realize you're low in, how can you increase them by just 1%? And then I want you to schedule those and plan them in for this next week as if it was an appointment you were having with somebody. So do not allow yourself to miss that appointment. Just make an appointment with yourself and make sure that those things get done. So I think it's really important to take control of your free time, to plan out your week ahead of time so that you can plan in consumption, creation, self-knowledge, and other knowledge. It's really important to kind of weave that into your schedule, because if you don't make it a priority, you're just gonna slide into the gravity of what you're naturally inclined to do and slide into the gravity of what culture is currently doing. So thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, give it a like. It really helps me out when you do. I think it's really cool, actually, this liking and commenting system, because it's something that's free for you to do. It's free for you to like it and you get to show some gratitude, but it's something that actually really helps me, and it helps YouTube recommend my content more and helps other people find this content more. So I think it's kind of a cool system. Free for you, but it really helps me, so I appreciate it. So if you really liked it, give it a like. Like I said, I post content on risk-taking, business, personal development, so if that sounds interesting to you, please subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.